Hello, and welcome to another Positive Cinematic Spotlight, where we look at movies to find encouragement and inspiration for the education community. Now, it's been a couple weeks since we had spring break, but during that spring break, my younger daughter had decided she wanted to rewatch her favorite movie series, and that favorite movie series became her favorite book series, the Harry Potter series. And so she wanted to rewatch the Harry Potter octology. And depending on the day, some days I was actively watching with her, and some days it was kind of in the background. Um, and so, either directly or just kind of passively, I watched Hermione, Ron, and Harry develop as students and as protagonists. She did not get the octology completed because she does have to share the TV with her siblings and her parents. Um, but she did finish the movie series last weekend when she finally watched Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Um, with the heroic series, there are certain things that you're guaranteed to find in your characters. You're going to find bravery and a willingness to face their fears, um, the willingness to not give up in the face of what seems like insurmountable odds. These are common heroic characteristics that we can expect from just about any heroics series, whether it's superheroes or fantasy like Harry Potter or spy thrillers. Seeing something wrong and refusing to just accept it, uh, having the need to address the wrongness. These are qualities you see in every heroic story. What's interesting though is when we can find things that you don't normally find in every single one. And one of the benefits of a lengthy um, heroic series like the Harry Potter series is that they're able to bring in, whether it's consciously or just by happenstance of the plot, um, some qualities that seem almost um, secondary in nature, but are still very essential in that we can learn from. And I found that in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Um, After all, as I said, I was either actively watching or passively aware of their development into the heroes that they are in Deathly Hallows Part 2. They are very different characters in the eighth installment than they were in the first. And it's not just a matter of age, it's not just a matter of knowing more about magic. It's about their personality and their strength of character and their will. One of the things that we saw throughout the series is they let things distract them. Of course, early on, they were young. It's easy to be distracted when we're young, not realize the importance of all the things that are happening. And of course, they were young. Not, everybody didn't believe them when they were talking about Voldemort. I have a phone call. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And when I stopped, I was talking about how throughout the series, as they matured, things got in the way of their focus. And of course, part of that was learning that Voldemort was really a threat, and of course, then trying to convince the adults in the Wizarding world that they were in fact in danger of Voldemort returning, despite so many adults not believing them. And their distractions were very common teenage distractions. They were distracted by love lives and petty squabbles with rivals and that kind of thing. Personal things that kept them from focusing on the fact that Voldemort was gaining power and um, coming to cause problems. But in Deathly Hallows Part 2, they are focused, defeating Lord Voldemort. They finally figured out how they could do it, and that was their main goal. They worked together, they had other people helping them. They were focused on their goal. And of course they were. It's the last movie of the series. But then that's kind of like the fourth quarter for a school year. We are in the last scenes of the 2020 2021 school year movie. We need to make sure we are just as focused as Ron, Hermione, and Harry were in Deathly Hallows Part 2. We need to make sure that we don't lose our focus on our original goal. For the most part, every teacher's goal and every educator, whether you're in the classroom or in the office or wherever you are, is to enhance quality learning in a safe and accepting environment. And we can't lose focus of that. Um, but this is also the time when we do tend to lose focus of that. We tend to get what I call the fourth quarter forget about it, or the 4QFs. And there are two types of 4QFs. There are two types of fourth quarter forget about it. There's 4QFA and 4QFB. 4QF A uh, is the most common, and that's where you're just tired of talking to the same students about the same behaviors because you've been doing it for three quarters and nothing's changed. It happens. They're minor behaviors. It's nothing major. It's minor behaviors. They get their discipline, but it's not. excuse me. It's not changing their everyday behavior, and you're still having to talk to them about it. Right? It's Theo who is just one more time throwing that trash into the trash can, even though you've been telling him all year long not to do it because he almost never makes it. It bounces off the rim, and him picking it up leads to distraction in class, and that's when he does pick it up because sometimes he doesn't. And so you're like, well, you know what? It's just a few weeks more. You know what? Forget about it. I'm just not going to say anything this time. The lunch detentions aren't working. The discipline's not working. Calling home's not working. He's not changing. I'm just going to let it go this time. And we do that. It's exhaustion because we've been dealing with this stuff all year. All right. And you can have the most effective administration in the world, and there are students who their behaviors are not going to change, and they're minor things. It's minor things. It's stuff that's just frustrating, but it's not violent. It's not you know uh, it's not a huge disruption to the classroom so that you got to call for assistance. It's just, come on, man. I've told you not to do it, and you're still doing it. And you know what? Forget about it. I'm done saying anything. I'm just moving on. So that's 4QFA. That's the most common kind. But there's also 4QFB, the fourth quarter forget about it B type, where it's anger, where our tiredness of it doesn't result, or sorry, the fact that we've done it so long doesn't lead to us getting apathetic about it. Dress code being a very common uh, uh, cause of 4QFA, fourth quarter forget about it, getting tired of addressing the same dress code issues. 4QFB, fourth quarter forget about it B type, is when you get angry, you get frustrated, and you say, Dag nabbit, Theo, I've been telling you all year long not to do that. Just get out of my classroom. The best teachers get frustrated, and sometimes the best teachers accidentally say something like that. It's not, if you're one of the best teachers, it's not something that you can't come back from, but it happens. And we got to watch out for those fourth quarter forget about it, both A and B. We got to remember that we are trying to keep our students learning and keep them safe and keep them feeling accepted as part of our classes. Now, remember what Maya Angelou said. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. That was Maya Angelou. She says sometimes you're going to be defeated. Sometimes Theo's not going to uh, listen to the thing you've been telling him not to do all year long. Throw that paper ball, and he's going to throw that paper ball. Maybe today's not the day. He's going to throw that paper ball again at the trash, and it's going to bounce off the rim like it does 9 out of 10 times, and it rolls over towards Hugh's foot. And Hugh's been reading in the book, and he's annoyed that he got distracted by this rolling ball on the ground. So he picks it up and he throws it back at Theo a little bit harder than he should because he's annoyed that he got distracted from his book. But Theo ducks and the paper ball misses and it bounces off Sierra's head. And Sierra rises slowly, a slight growl to her voice. Oh, I know you didn't, followed by a profanity laced explanation of how much work it takes for her to get her hair just right every morning. And if that paper ball messed up her hair, the fate of both Troy and Hugh chilled every listener in the classroom and became the stuff of legend. That might be today, but we can't just forget about it. We got to address it. We got to remember that we need to maintain order in our classroom to make it to the end of the school year on a positive note. Because the way they end the school year this year, they could have 3 positive quarters. If that fourth quarter turns negative and all of a sudden their teachers are angry with them, then next year that's the memory they're going to start school with. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep our eye on keeping control of the classroom so that we can continue teaching uh, every day and positively. I want to thank everybody for what you do. I want to thank everybody for being the best. And I want to thank everybody for staying focused on providing a safe and accepting environment for uh, quality learning.